I was, for some reason, it was like yesterday or the day before, I was like, how did Abby start doing this? How did that begin?
I literally remember just pulling Sean aside and being like, can I talk to you for a second? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, for all of us, this has elements of life changing, and obviously I think we could all easily go down the road of how consistent fitness has dramatically changed our lives, how consistent and healthy nutrition has dramatically changed our lives. And I think we challenge ourselves to kind of look outside the box of that. That, I think, for us, we've worked hard and honed, and it's really cool, thinking back to your journey when you started here, and Gail or Abby in class to then Abby now as a leader and a coach, and watching that blossom in time. And then it's so far removed, I can't even remember Nolan's origins, just like maybe it's like fuzzy, black and white, my own, because it's 10 plus years now, and how we've evolved to now. And now, Peter's, and just seeing the rapid development. And we'll get more into that like further along, but blessings that have changed all of our lives, like our tribe,
Going along with what Abby was saying, another thing I had written down was cutting the bad people, not the bad people, but the people that kind of drag you down out of your life versus build you up. And just joining here, I'm surrounded by these three every single day, and they want nothing more than to, see you shine, be the best version of yourself. So just by getting away from those other people that maybe don't want to see you succeed, or just don't bring that best version of yourself.
That's true. Your environment's huge.
Yeah, to kind of continue off what Peter said, spending more time with those that really matter can be really impactful, and like really just change like how, like what your quality of life is like. For anybody who knows me, like my grandparents were super important to me. And probably for like the last 2 years they were alive, I spent a lot of time with them. And I just remember how I mean, I'm still happy now, but how fulfilled I was during that time. And you can gain a lot of strength from being around the people you love the most, you most love that. But taking the time to make time for those people that matter the most to you can be really impactful and really change just the overall quality of your life. So and finding those people and kind of ditching like what Peter said, the friends or the people in your life maybe aren't filling your cup as much as you need, giving them less time and giving more time to the people who really matter.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is something that we can all relate to in our own unique way. I wrote here 4 or 5 years ago for me was a big staple of when I began to put working on myself as one of the most dedicated things that I was going to do, and transmit that out to who was around me. And that became developing a morning routine, personal development, listening to things that would empower me and lift me up versus things that would do the opposite of that, investing in things, courses, or going to things, even a life coach, things that were going to move the needle for me to allow me to become more, so I could give more, whether that's as a team leader, whether that's as a coach, whether that as a human being, as a person, and just really elevate myself. And that was stepping back and being who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be remembered for? Where am I going to spend the most of my time? Who am I going to spend most of my time with? And I knew that was going to be at work and what you're doing. And I made that a priority to carve out time, and it started small, 15, 20 minutes initially, and it's grown to 60 to 90 minutes where just work on myself, improving, learning, growing, and healing. I think a lot of us have stuff from childhood or our backgrounds or experiences that we've been through that can shape us going forward, and if unaddressed can just put us in a pattern of conditioning. So just really learning, and then taking those tools, helping develop a team and a like-minded team around that, and then seeing these guys grow in their own way from that, and then being able to take those things that we all learn in our own unique way and provide that back as tools to enrich and uplift and help others develop, whether that's through clients we work with, people we work with, in a one-on-one environment, a group environment, or just in a conversation. So that was a big one for me, is making time to invest in the greatest investment, which is yourself, and not put other priorities in front of that and yourself last, which obviously leads to burnout, unhappiness, no fulfillment. So that was a big one, and I know these guys obviously do that as well in their own unique ways. So really proud of that as a team, as a culture, as a just as a business, as friends, because I see that every day bleed out into what we do, who we impact, and those we reach.
I have that very like taking, we say things about cutting things out, and maybe that sounds a little bit harsh, but it almost takes like that 20-pound weight off of the shoulders, especially going through a rough time. I remember going through like really hard time, tough time, very dark time, and found myself kind of like shutting the brain off and going to scrolling and maybe doing that deep diving that we all do, and then just like almost like wasting hours of the time and then letting it unfold and create stories within my own head, and it just like hurts. It's like painful and it's just not healthy. And I remember just like making the decision of completely cutting social media out of my life, deactivating everything, taking it off my phone, and that's when I started journaling and like talking to a grief counselor at that time. And it was like, I remember being very against that, and I'm not really sure why, but I remember like talking to an unbiased individual that is able to help you understand yourself a little bit better and your thoughts a little bit better. She encouraged me to start writing things down. I remember she was like, sometimes you don't even have to write anything down. If you want to write the F-bomb down a bunch of times in a notebook, if that makes you feel better, getting it on a piece of paper, then so be it. And I remember that like that time coming out of it, I was like the most independent, strong like woman, and I remember just being like so freeing. And one day this like pain that was like lingering on the chest just like all of a sudden disappeared. And so I remember just like that just completely drastically changed my life. It was just like going back to the self instead of letting all the noise around like dictate what you were going to feel. So and then continuing it now because of what we encourage each other to do all the time.
When you guys, I want to hear if you guys have more. I'd love to hear it. I think when you talk about eliminating negativity or things that bring you down, or how you could say like it can sound like a negative. I mean, maybe that's just a reframe of all of us. Like, I think that's the right thing to do. I think it's the difficult thing to do, and maybe like a thing we can all lean into too is like doing the hard thing is the necessary thing a lot of the time. Easy isn't always the best way. Sitting on the couch the entire day, watching TV isn't going to get you closer to the human being you want to be, things of that nature. But cutting out, putting the weight down of the stories, eliminating the people from, if you have to do, I just wrote about this, you have to do a social media cleanse and unfriend and unfollow the people who don't enrich your life, like do that, because this is your life. So I think there's a lot of power in that with what you're both saying, and then turning that to your greatest investment, ourselves,
Yeah, I think to kind of piggyback off like what you two said, it's very easy to, like Sean, like all the work you do out like that's all like outside of the gym. Like the easy thing to do is like come here, like work out for the hour, which is great. Like make that happen, like move in some way. But the hard stuff is like, okay, how do I move the needle in the 23 hours, 7 days a week outside of here, when it's very easy to sit on the couch, scroll mindlessly through Instagram, take on. I think something that helped me drastically, like kind of like changed my life, was saying no more. And I was like no more, like saying no to more things, where it's very easy for us to like pile on. Yeah, I'll do this thing. Yeah, I'll go see this person. I'll do this thing, when it's like sometimes like you need to say no to things to raise quality of your life, have more time for you, not have negative things in your life. You might think it's hard to cut out social media for a week or a month, but as soon as it's gone, you wake up the next day and you're like, holy crap, like there's light in the world again, So for me, like saying no to more things than yes to like the things that really like move the needle for you, which is like the self-care, taking time for yourself, learning, growing, that stuff is really big.
I think it could look different for anybody. Meeting with people now, and all the things that we do outside of here helps everybody. It helps with what we do in here. And I remember like there are some comments that come our way with like, you guys always seem so happy and you're so energized and you're so, you know, you're the top of your game. And it's because of all that stuff. It's like that hard work outside, reading, listening to things that can help us in ways to make our job better, and like communication, or just to how to make somebody feel, or how to listen. You know, I think too many times that could be passed up with anything, like in a relationship, in a leadership position. So that is huge. I think that's like the number one thing that we could say probably has drastically changed our life.
Yeah, and like if you guys are comfortable with this, like putting the bow on it is like, I know that work, seeing like Nolan experience that the greatest hardship of like losing his grandparents, my recent like experience with my dog getting unexpected cancer and giving this like short diagnosis and overcoming that. You know, obviously you've been through a lot yourself, and Peter, unfortunately, probably a lot of it's ahead for you. You know? But I know with 100% belief and certainty that that work that we've put in and built and done for ourselves has helped build the resilient human who can go through and face adversity and not bow down, be, you know, plowed over, wilt and break and crumble, but know that this is difficult and know that we can do difficult things and go through that, and the power of your mindset and wrapping yourself around people who love and support and care about you, investing in yourself and how you look and how you view that, and then taking that and giving that back outwardly, you know? So those are some things that have dramatically improved our lives. We'll see you next week.